Hey, hi, first week of trials this week, so I just give a quick guide for the loot. So, yeah. Firstly, cards. If you play on a completed trials card, there is a chance for last season's trials loot to still drop. I don't know if you need a specific win count. I'm on a 5-win card, for example. I would imagine it's probably 4 if it's going to be anything, so try to get 4 wins. The shader isn't dropping this week anyway, so you don't really have to worry about getting 5 or above. It's currently bugged. They might give it to us anyway, they probably won't. So yeah, just make sure if you're playing on a 5-win card that you make sure to check your loot, because you can still get the odd stuff. Next, hand cannon. I'm a bit disappointed with it. It is good. It is a incredibly good hand cannon. Okay. It is a pretty good hand cannon, just objectively speaking, but it is not Rose. It's basically my TLDR. I can get side shot and precision. It's got really good stats. It's got basically better stats than Rose does anyway. Let's go through this life. No, I sure that anyway, purpose trust. So stat wise, there's 77 range, 56 stability, and 83 handling on a roll with fluid, accurate, and range masterwork, whilst Rose has 70 range, 64 handling, and 67 64 stability and 67 handling on a roll with small ball, accurized, smooth grip, and I believe this has a stability masterwork. No, it has a range masterwork. So it has a range masterwork. So Star Wars, this thing is basically better in every way, but Rose does essentially the same thing anyway because it has slide shot. Which means it effectively has just 100 range and 100 stability anyway, just for literally existing. This gun also doesn't have a weight bonus, so Hunters, there's that going against it. Yeah, but I just like, if you feel like if you have Rose and you're going for the like objectively best roll, I don't see a point. However, if you're going for a AE roll, this thing is probably the best AE hand cannon in the game because it has Lone Wolf. And also the Trials Origin trait that increases your movement speed and airborne effectiveness when you hit an enemy, which is good. This thing also has the problem of having less aim assist and also lower recoil direction. It has 85 recoil direction at base, which means it can feel very bad on console from what I've heard. On PC it's not too bad. It feels basically about like any other hand cannon in the game, so if you're on keyboard and mouse you probably wouldn't notice it, but if you're on console, I would definitely recommend at minimum using extended barrel. I have heard some people saying it's basically unusable without counterbalance or even like arrowhead break to fix it. However, this thing has such good stats anyway, and honestly I feel like you may as well just run an extended barrel no matter which input you're on, because this thing is most likely going to have higher handling than it will range anyway, because it for some reason has stat splits of a 150 ampere. And if handling matters that much to you, you can use the Bow origin trait, which is the Crucible origin trait. That will just give you an extra 10 stability and handling anyway for being in combat. So yeah, I'll like release a proper video about this thing. Maybe in the coming days, this coming week. Going into a bit more detail once I've used it more, but as it stands, if you have Rose, just don't really bother, and if you don't, then you may as well. Don't get that much ended early, so you got your second game. Next most important thing, I believe, is the armor set. The new Demotic armor set bonuses read as the 2-piece can wrench you flinch resistance to primary weapons after sliding, and the 4-piece makes it so your weapons gain an increase to handling and ADS speed when an ally is defeated or you revive an ally. Both are incredibly powerful, but I think the main one is going to be the two-piece. So the main one is the two-piece. Basically, if you're playing the game correctly, it feels like it's active pretty much all of the time, because when are we not sliding, really? Especially in current year. And it is a incredibly noticeable flinch resistance buff. Admittedly, I use 2 flinch resistance mods anyway, so I might just notice it more because I'm at like a certain soft cap after sliding, where I basically don't take flinch, but that's what it feels like. It feels like I basically don't take flinch from several weapons, primarily explosive payload weapons and SMGs, where I can now actually win those fights, where I sometimes wasn't before because I was getting flinched at target. Also, especially for parents when fighting 120s, so do keep in mind. Next most important weapon then is going to be the pulse rifle. The pulse rifle is a Void 450 lightweight pulse rifle. It's not the battle frame, and it's pretty good. I got a basically 505. I'm only really missing extended barrel. I would absolutely recommend extended barrel pulse rifle just because it is just such a bonus to have actual recoil direction, and you know, considering both battle rifle frames have such high recoil direction anyway, you kind of need it to compete with them. I feel if you're in like a 1v1 situation between them. However, if you're fighting basically any other weapon, this is probably the best pulse rifle in the game. If you're sort of on the lower end of the skill curve, I would probably recommend getting a Head Seeker and Withering Gaze. Withering Gaze basically increases your damage by 2 for ADSing for a short period, because it weakens the target. Weaken is quite useful anyway, as it also increases your teammates' damage, so it'd be good for team shooting. And Head Seeker will give it extra help. The 2 damage bonus essentially just knocks a bullet off of your time to kill anyway, and the forgiveness from Head Seeker should help you even if you're good at the game. I would say to use Lone Wolf or Keep Away with Kill Clip, Desperado, or even Zen Moments. Just one, really. Petrol Motion is also an option, so you know, that's always nice to have. But I would mainly say Lone Wolf or Keep Away with Kill Club is probably my choice, because you can just 2-burst with a 450 afterwards. Okay. Oh. Chasing. I don't think I have it in my inventory anymore. The orange trait is also really good in that pulse rifle. I basically have max 8. It feels basically about as free movement as using the battle frames anyway, so if you are worried about not having the movement benefits, you will still have them. Next weapon will be the Immortal. You can get rangefinder target lock, you can get dynamic sway target lock, you can even get elemental honing, which if you stack your damage buffs correctly, you can get up to a 72% damage buff apparently. I would watch Nico's video if you want to hear more about that, because it's a bit interesting. But basically, you stack the weapon stat, you stack radiance, and you stack elemental honing. I think you need times 2 or something for it to really be noticeable on its own. And you get a... I've ever said it was a 0.67 or it was a 0.53 time to kill. You can also on Immortal get Slice and Transcendent Moments, which Transcendent Moments is very good because it's a dark aligned weapon, and therefore will grant it 30 range and 30 aim assist stats. So it essentially makes it the easiest to use SMG in the game. And will also debuff enemies. Now to the less useful stuff. You can get Astral Horizon again. That will come with Threat Detector / Slide Shot with Closing Time. It's probably your best rule, just because it's an aggressive frame. I feel it kind of needs the handling stats, but I would say the aggressive frames are like alright at the moment, but they're definitely not the best by any means. I would much rather just use like precision or even a lightweight frame. Hawthorne's Field Forge shotgun is probably the best shotgun this season because it just does really good range and really good perks, alongside being a lightweight and having very good handling. Then there's Cataphracts. Cataphracts is probably only useful if you are unable to do the Epic Desert Perpetual Raid or don't own it already. However, if you want a slight upgrade, you can get Envious Arsenal and bait and switch on it now. But you can also get basically every other role you were going to have. So, yeah. Hopefully that gets everything into Chris. If you got anything from that, like, comment, usual stuff, and bye.